the bite, the bug, yeah. The
Hello, you guys. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Sharday, if you are new here. I create content on things related to nursing school, things related to lifestyle, and just overall place where we can come, be honest about our emotions, and just like share, encourage each other, that kind of thing. So today, I really wanted to talk about how to mentally prepare for nursing school and just for your next semester overall, because I feel like the mental part of nursing school is like 85% of nursing school issues and struggles and, you know, just the stress of everything. The reason why I wanted to really do this video is because I had such a hard time at the end of this semester. You guys can look at previous videos and you can see how tired I was. You can hear me talk about how tired I was, how burnt out I was, how just like everything, right? We had our winter break, which was about 4 weeks, I would say 4 to 5 weeks. It was really crucial for me to get it together because I start class 4 days from now. So now I went from being burnt out, having compassion fatigue at work, and just overall just being kind of over it, unmotivated, to now I'm ready to tackle my goals. I'm ready to get to it, have a successful semester. So I'm gonna share the tips that I have used to help me get to this point mentally, because it was a struggle. And hopefully these tips can help you guys as well. Just kind of a reminder so you can be ready and fully prepared for the next semester. So without further ado, let's get into the video. Reset and recharge. Rest was so important for my mental health this past 5 weeks that I've had. Resting, sleeping, taking naps, taking baths, reading books for my leisure, going to yoga, meditating, those kind of things, journaling. Really resting so I can see what areas that I need to work on and what areas that really need my attention, my overall goal of where I want to be mentally. I have to evaluate things, and the best way that you can do that is resting and being with your thoughts. I was not feeling creative at all for that last part of the semester, and I'm such a creative person. Just felt like I was just in this mundane routine, and resting really helped me clear my mind, clear my thoughts, kind of refocus and have a fresh pair of eyes, because I feel like that's so important going into the next semesters, remembering your why and, you know, remembering the finish line so you can get through it. Map out your routine. When you're really busy and you have a lot going on and you have a lot of not only, you know, school academic goals, but you also have your personal goals, your financial goals, all of these other goals that you have, you definitely want to map out the routine for each and everything. Morning routine, what you do after work, school routine. Usually programs have like a certain kind of ebb and flow to them. So for me personally, this semester it's gonna be a Monday and Tuesday class, and then my clinicals are gonna be on Fridays, and then it's gonna switch to med surg and my clinicals are gonna be on Wednesdays. So there is a rhyme and reason to the program, because schoolwork just isn't in the classroom. You know, there's a lot of out of class studying, and just overall keep you on track with your other goals, keep you on track with your fitness goals, keep you on track with your financial goals. Routines are so important. So right now, I have my morning routine where I get up at 4:30 every single morning, no matter if I'm going to the gym, no matter if I'm not. The days that I don't go to the gym, I can use that extra time to really take my time in the morning to write out in my planner what I have to do, and also to, you know, journal, talk with God, listen to a nice podcast, make breakfast, make a smoothie, all of those things. I alleviate that 4:30 in the morning to be dedicated strictly to me, no matter what. So whether that be a little extra rest, whether that be, you know, going to the gym and working on my fitness and working on my health, whether that be whatever. Now, as far as my routines after work, I have a spot where I sit down, I evaluate what I have to do for that day, and then I just start crossing things off, and I don't get up from that seat, you know, other than having small breaks here and there, but I don't get up from that seat essentially permanently until I've crossed out all of those things. What that does is, in my mind, I am not only dedicating time and being focused, and I'm also way more satisfied with the day, because I'm not dragging on you know, yesterday's issues to today, and so on and so on and so on. So that way I don't feel overwhelmed. That is one of the most number one emotions that I feel during nursing school is overwhelmness. Like, it's overwhelming. Like, there's so much to do, there's so much to, you know, regular life, everything. Make sure that you're mapping out your routine in everything, okay? You definitely want to limit your distractions. I have had to make sure that I put in my mind that, okay, if I take a break, I can only have 10 minutes of social media, and that's it. I have to put my phone down. Or sometimes I'll put music in or whatever, and sometimes that'll be like my mindless whatever I'm doing. You know, if I have to make a few phone calls, if I have to check my financial aid, send a few emails out, I can do that with music in my ear. But when it comes to homework and when it comes to being focused, because now I'm doing 2 programs at the same time, so I really have to limit my distractions. I really have to just turn everything off, flip my phone over, and then just get to work. It's always hard getting into it, like being fully focused when I'm not feeling motivated. But once you get going, it's just kind of like a snowball effect to where your mind and your body just starts to kind of operate for you. I have to look at the time and say, okay, at 3:30, I have to get to it, okay? I always have to map out the time frames for every little thing in my day, so that way I can keep reminding myself to stay on track. Because one thing about it, I definitely want to be done with everything by 7:30 every single night. And by doing this, I can be in bed by a good time. I can get my 7 to 8 hours of rest. I can wake up early to go to the gym, and I can also have a bath and read. You know, I have to start incorporating more self-care into my routines, because things get crazy very, 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 very fast in nursing school. Write out everything. Write out everything. If you need to have your student handbook signed and turned in on the first day, you need to print out student handbook. If you need to, you know, have a certain assignment done or a certain prep work for class done, you need to be preparing all of this stuff, even the so-called hard assignments that I want to say, where they have specific deadlines and you know that you have to do it. You also have to write out your own deadlines to meet the class deadlines, and that includes reading chapter 1 or reading da-da-da-da. You have to make sure that you're writing out everything, and that includes the work that you have to do without the teacher telling you have to do it. Map out your entire month, see what you have going on, so that way when you're 2 weeks away from a huge project, your mind is already saying, okay, in 2 weeks I have this huge project. I really need to start adding in a little bit of this on the weekend, so that way I can, you know, come to my classmates and say, hey, this is what I have. These are the sources that I have, the articles that I've read. You know, just really be proactive in your learning. You really need to start layering your learning. That's one thing that I've gotten way better at throughout my nursing program. I feel like I've been in this program for like 4 years, y'all. It's only been a year. But anyways, when I do really sit down and get into the nitty-gritty of this information, I've already looked at it a few times. I've watched a few simple nursing videos. I've done this, I've done that. Now I'm coming together. My notes are organized because I've been prepared with it. If something happens with work or with, you know, with school, unexpected things that happen, or if I'm feeling super, super tired, I'm allowed, and I've prepared myself well enough to where I can take a nap, to where I can, you know, go out to eat or whatever. I've prepared myself to be able to give myself wiggle room, not only in my learning and my grades, but also in my lifestyle. Tailoring your life to school. This is huge, especially for the people that are in an ADN program, which is a 2-year program at a technical school. You probably have a job, you probably have kids, you probably have a husband or something going on, or a wife. You know, I don't want to be stereotypical in saying that only women are in nursing, but you probably have things that are important, if not kind of more important than school in retrospect. But right now, school is kind of the most important thing. But you have to make sure that you're mapping out your other life outside of school to tailor what's going on in school, because school requires you to be on time. It requires you to be at places. Every single thing is mandatory in nursing school. You can't miss a day in lab. You can't miss a simulation. You can't miss you know, a clinical. You cannot miss this stuff, and you have to be on time. So mapping out everything in your life to tailor what's going on in nursing school is definitely going to alleviate a lot of stress when it comes to school, honestly. And let people that are around you know communication is so key in nursing school. It's like, I have all of this going on. I'm sorry if I won't be able to sit here and talk on the phone. I'm sorry if I won't be able to make it to this. I'm sorry, you know, it's like you're not necessarily intentionally trying to be absent in other people's lives or not be present, but at the same time, they truly don't know. They truly don't know. Like, as much as you try to explain to them what's going on, they truly don't know what you're going through, how much you're juggling, and how pressing nursing school truly is. So you can try to convey that as best as you can, but at the end of the day, you have to just keep moving forward. You can't take things personally, and you have to just get through this program. Y'all, I swear, if I say one of my points and my other points is really gonna like, I just need to be patient and just get to the next point. But my next point, number 6, is communicating and being proactive in your life. Being proactive, working ahead, writing out your assignments, printing off things that you need. Being organized. Being organized is so important. I can't tell you how many times my classmates have like praised me on my organization when it comes down to studying for an exam. I have everything there. I have it organized in the direction that it needs to go. I have teacher points that she's mentioned in class. I have, you know, slides. I have medication lists. I have the most important thing. Like, I have everything organized and tailored to my lifestyle because I absolutely need to be organized, y'all. I'm working full time. I am doing 2 programs now at this point in time, and 1 program was already enough. So it's like I have to step up my organizational skills. And organizing takes time. That's where the proactive part comes in. Organizing takes time. You really have to set aside time in your day and your week to get things back organized. Don't let 1-2 weeks go by without you being organized and what you have going on, crossing things off that are done so you don't have to worry about it, or wondering if you did it or not, or wondering when it's due. You know when it's due when you're organized. You know how long it's going to take you because you're starting ahead. And some things, like I've been doing this clinical packet, you guys. We have to do this clinical packet where we basically have to do our own learning and fill out a whole bunch of stuff as to why the nurse has to do this intervention. What does it mean for the mother? You know, what does it mean for the baby? What does, you know, it's so detailed that I started this packet like a week and a half ago thinking, oh, okay, I'm just gonna work on it. I'm gonna work ahead and be, you know, cool with it, blah, 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 because I have to have this done by clinical to even participate in clinical. Well, this packet has been way harder than I even expected, okay? And it's taking me days and days and days to finish this packet, and I'm sitting down working hours on it a day trying to get this packet done, and I'm still not done. So it's like, if I wouldn't have looked into what I actually had to do for class and had started on it, I probably would have waited until it was kind of almost due and then tried to start on it and then just be like crap out of luck, you know what I mean? And behind and really stressed out because now all the other homework is adding in. Now we're doing labs, now we're doing checkoffs, now we're doing clinicals. You see what I mean? So it's like being proactive because you really don't know what to expect with some things. And so when you give yourself a little bit of a time frame and a little bit of wiggle room to really focus on what it is you need to focus on, you really can kind of see where you're at, work ahead. It is going to relieve so much stress for you, you guys. And that is the whole point of this video, is mentally preparing, because I feel like the unmotivation and just the exhaustion comes from chronic stress. And so every single tip that I'm giving you is to help you with stress and kind of lighten the load a little bit, so that way you can have a vision again, that way you can have motivation again, that way you can get excited again. Social media cleanse. Okay, so I really felt like I really didn't have time to do like a true social media cleanse and unfollow and do all this other stuff. But as much as if you do social media or try to, you know, use social media to just as a platform to grow or whatever, like whether it be YouTube, Instagram, whatever, you know that the algorithm gets on your nerves. But for the consumer, the algorithm can sometimes be extremely beneficial. And I'll explain why. When you're doing your social media cleanse, you don't necessarily have to go through every single person and start deleting. Social media cleansing can be kind of like an everyday practice. If you see something that's like super toxic, or you're following a girl that, like, you know, bashes men all day long, or you're like, you know, you're following people who cuss a lot, or just like, you know, just things that you're just like, okay, I'm feeding this into my spirit and it's not really doing much for me in a positive way. If you ever feel like that, you can always mute, you can always unfollow, but also just start following more people that you resonate with. You know what I'm saying? Start following more positive thinking, you know, more intellectual thinking, more goal-oriented thinking, self-care, all of the things that you truly want to focus in on this year. Start following accounts more like that, and more accounts will start trickling in that are similar to the accounts that you are following because of the algorithm. Kind of doing like a reverse social media cleanse. I'm not really doing an unfollowing spree, but I am doing a following spree to where the algorithm can start suggesting more things that I like to see, and that are good for me to see. Because like I said, on a study break, I'm sure you pick up social media. You need something that's going to be like encouraging, like affirmations, things that are just going to add into the substance of your life. So I think that that's super, super, super important. A lot of people don't consider that, but evidence has shown, okay, you guys, I've done so many group projects at this point. I've seen a few articles, okay, that are reputable articles, but evidence has shown that social media does increase depression and anxiety, okay? Do we need more depression and anxiety in nursing school? Oh wait, comment down below if you feel like we need more of that, because we don't. So if we already know that social media and the fear of missing out and all of these things are increasing depression and anxiety, why do we keep feeding into it? So we need to use social media and our eyes and our sight and our attention to our advantage and start putting more positive things into our spirits, okay? The next point that I want to make is to stretch and connect. I cannot tell you guys, and of course every person is different. Please take this with however you take it. However, if you receive it, receive it. If you don't, then don't. But stress definitely likes to hide in those joints and muscles. It just does, okay? And it starts to affect us long term when you just don't feel good, you're achy. It's really going to affect when you really need to study and you really just don't feel like it, when you're physically don't feel well. Incorporate stretching into, you know, before you go to sleep or after you wake up. Stretching is so important to our bodies, to our circulation, to everything. So don't forget to stretch. It really is going to relieve some of that stress and things that you carry on a day-to-day assignments, and making sure that you're getting a 76 and above, and making, you know what I mean? Like the stress and the weight of nursing school, it likes to stay in our joints, it likes to stay in our muscles. So make sure that you're stretching so it can release and you can start the day fresh, and you can start the day with a better mental attitude. Also, connecting. You definitely want to connect to your source of strength, right? For me, personally, it is God. It is the Holy Spirit. So when I got so busy to the point where I wasn't connecting, I wasn't being still to hear, I wasn't you know, participating in my spiritual well-being by journaling, reading the word, it definitely affected me. I definitely felt like, this is awful. This is terrible. I'm stressed out, I'm tired, I'm burnt out. I don't have any compassion in me anymore. Like, I was starting to really float away from the core of what my spirit is. And I didn't realize it's something that it happens in small increments, right? We start to get busy, you know, and then life happens, and then we get discouraged, and then, you know, we just whatever. But it happens, you start to float away from your connection of strength. So it's definitely something that you don't notice until you just are about to have a breakdown. And you know, I talked to a few students, and we definitely all have those breakdowns here and there, because stress just gets to be too much. It begins to be overbearing. Connect to your source, okay? I'm not trying to push anything on you guys or anything, but my source is the Lord. And so when I start to float away from him is when I start to feel extremely chaotic mentally. I start to feel extremely like I can't do it, like my goal is too hard for me. I like those negative self-talk, it just starts to get me. It starts to get me. I don't feel like I'm good enough. I don't feel like I'm trying hard enough. I don't feel like I'm doing enough. I don't feel like my YouTube is doing anything. I don't feel like, you know what I mean? Like, just to be 100% honest with you guys. And it's like, we definitely have to get back to that source that feeds us, that source that strengthens us, that source that reassures us. And you have to find that. If you don't have that, you have to find that. It is so crazy. That's just with life, not even with nursing school. You have to find that source that connects you and tells you that this life thing is rough, but we can do it. We got this. So yeah. And lastly, I want to say, use your senses, use your intuition. That's why I feel like it's so important to go as hard as you can out the gate. Like, hit the semester running hard, okay? Hit it hard, study as hard as you can, because it's so important to listen to your body. It's so important to listen to your mental and your spirit. When you are starting to kind of slow down a little bit, it's so important to take that nap. It's so important to, you know you're supposed to be studying, but maybe you should just kind of watch TV for an hour. You really have to find that quote unquote balance, but not really. It's just finding and listening to your intuition, that ebb and flow of what this semester looks like for you. I've said this multiple times. I'm not huge on getting straight A's in nursing school. You definitely want those if you're trying to apply into it, but when you're in it, I'm not huge on it, because there's so much more to this 2 years that you're dedicating to your life than just schoolwork. There's relationships, there's your health, there's your mental health, there's your home, the well-being of your home, there's work, there's financials, there's so much that goes into this nursing program other than nursing school. And I try to stress this so much. So you do the very best that you can. You ask help when you need it, when you know you need it, you know you're not getting it. Do not delay help. And that involves, that involves mental help as well. Just listening to your body, listening to your mind. What is it telling you that you need? You need to follow that, okay? As much as we try to push through and push those emotions aside and study, you have to trust that if you're implementing organization, you're implementing time management, you're working ahead, you're doing the things that you need to do, you know where you need to be when you need to be there. You have to trust that when your spirit tells you this is what you need to follow that. That's so important. That way you can get through this without crumbling, without crying every week, without, you know what I mean? Because that's not fun. That's not fun. This process is supposed to be, it breaks us down to build us up, but it's also supposed to be teaching us something about what kind of nurse we need to be, how do we handle stress, all of that. So it's definitely important to listen to that voice, you guys, and you build that voice, okay? Because sometimes it's kind of cliche, right? It's kind of like, okay, well, how do I build that voice? You build that voice by, like I said, connecting, stretching, pausing, solitude, quietness, stillness. You build that by that, putting, your social media as positive. You're saying positive things to yourself. You're taking care of yourself. You're putting good things in your body. You're drinking water. All of that feeds because it's mind, body, and spirit. They're all connected. You can't disconnect them. So you do that by feeding different parts of that mind, body, and spirit. And that's what builds that intuition. That's what builds that life guide. So I want to leave you guys with that. Make sure that you leave me a comment down below of what you thought of the video, what you would like to see next, and how you are doing in this period, in this upcoming semester. When do you start? What block are you in? Give me all the details. Give me the tea, girl. Like, what's going on? And I just want to leave you guys with that. Again, let's really kill this semester. I'm not one to just blow fluff and smoke. up you guys' butts about like positivity and toxic positivity. I truly do try to show you when I'm just down and out and down bad. But right now, let's just go in with a fresh mental attitude, okay? Make sure that you give this video a big thumbs up. Make sure that you're following me if you're not following me. Like I said, I was not feeling creative with you guys. Like my creative juices are just like flowing out of me. I'm writing, I'm preparing videos. I'm super excited to like rebrand, change up my content, up it up a little bit, my editing, like everything. So just kind of let me know what you would like to see, what, you know, just, I don't know. I'm just excited for the new year. It just feels different. It feels personal. It feels like we're just going to kill it, and that's on period. So I love you guys. I will see you in my next video. Take care. Pray for me. I will pray for you. And let's just do this thing.
Sunlight that always stays, dinner by the waterway. It's that sweet life. Raise your cross. Made some dude crack a smile. He asked if I could stay a while.